calling to order this reorganization meeting of the La Crosse Board of Education meeting. We will recognize the Hogan Administrative Center occupies the land of the Ho-Chunk people. Please take a moment to celebrate and honor this ancestral Ho-Chunk land and the sacred lands. Wait, I'm reading the wrong one. Am I reading the wrong one?
No, you're right. We just do that all up at the top. So we
Okay.
don't have to do it.
So I have to do it later on, okay, or the board, whoever gets to be president doesn't have to do it later on. Okay, so let me read this over again, I don't want to be disrespectful. We recognize the Hogan Administrative Center occupies the land of the Ho-Chunk people. Please take a moment to celebrate and honor this ancestral Ho-Chunk land and the sacred lands of all indigenous peoples. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Alberts?
Here.
Mr. Bagneski?
Excused.
Ms. Fuchs? Here. Dr. Garcia? Here. Mr. Jackson?
Here.
Mr. Manka?
Here.
Mr. Newmeister?
Here.
Dr. Sprague?
Here.
Ms. Sukla?
Here. A quorum of the Board of Education is present, so the reorganizational meeting of May 5th, 2025 is called to order. I also want to let you know, Laura, Mr. Bagneski is traveling
Okay.
back from Europe, and if possible, will try to join us later on.
Oh, perfect. Okay, sounds good.
We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and face the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight's agenda has been previously distributed to the board. I would entertain at this time a motion with a second to approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
Start from the
Yeah, I
top.
gotta start first. All right.
Oh,
I'd like
I
to make a
thought you
motion
said
to approve the agenda as presented.
We have a motion, we have a
I'll
second.
second that, thank
We have a motion by Mr. Manka, seconded by Mr. Newmeister. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. We have no public speakers for this?
Nope.
Okay,
None tonight.
then, I'm only supposed to read the part in blue. Okay, so this is the approval of certification and summary statement of the Board of Canvassers. And do we have to approve that? Okay. So we need a motion to approve the certification and summary statement of the Board of Canvassers for the April 1st, 2025 school board election as presented.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the certification summary statement of the Board of Canvassers for the April 1st, 2025 school board election as presented.
Seconded.
Any comment? All those
Didn't you
in,
miss this, Jeff?
I don't think I made a motion and or seconded anything my first time around, so now I'm gonna say anything.
you'll get your chance. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval of certificates of election. And we need a motion to approve the certificates of election as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the certificates of election as
I'll second.
presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Dr. Sprague, seconded by Mr. Manka, to approve the certificates of election as presented. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Our next item is oath of office. So, Board Secretary Steigerwald will ask you to administer the oath of office to our newly elected representatives, or re-elected, Molly Fuchs, am I saying your name correctly?
Yes.
Meredith Garcia and Jeff Jackson. If you'd want to go into the center, and Laura will meet you there. This has never been my dream.
She's a notary, she got it.
This has never been my dream.
Where you want us to fix? Right here?
Like a backup name.
Whoever's acapella can sit in the middle.
All right, so if you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Meredith
Jackson.
Garcia,
Having been elected
have been elected
to the office of school board member,
to the office of school board member,
but have not yet
but have not yet
entered upon the duties thereof,
entered on the duties thereof,
affirm that I will support
affirm that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially
and will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of said office
discharge the duties of said office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to all three of you. We'll now move to the election of officers portion of the agenda. Do I have to read the Wisconsin statute piece of it?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So the first item is decision whether or not we would vote by secret ballot, if there's more than one nominee. Do we need a motion for that?
We would take a motion and vote, please.
I'd like to make a motion to vote by secret ballot if there are more than one nominee.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Manka, seconded by Mr. Newmeister, to vote by secret ballot if there's more than one nominee. Any discussion or questions?
Just trying to remember if we did that last time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we thought
did.
we did, yeah.
We did. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. We'll now move on to the election of the school board president. Are there any nominations for the school district president?
I'd like to nominate Trevor Sprague.
Thank you.
For school board president.
Okay, we have a nomination for Trevor Sprague. Mr. Newmeister?
I'd like to nominate Deb Sukla for president.
We have a nomination for Deb Sukla. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? So then we will need to hand out the ballots at this point.
99% positive that we keep the rights.
Thank you.
Karen, did you, Dr. Angel, did you want to collect them or did you collect them?
Why don't you collect them?
We should have a sorting hat.
Marcia wore track shoes tonight.
Always one of the breaks of silence.
So we have a tie vote, 4 and 4.
Trial by combat. We could arm wrestle.
We could do another vote.
So, yep, why don't we do one more? I'm just gonna mark this as the first one. Put these, I think, record.
As a point of information, what happens if we,
Yeah.
what's the process if it stays in a tie or what's?
So we can ask the board if they would like to continue voting. Because Mr. Bagneski will join us later, we could have a motion to vote to postpone till he joins us.
Okay, thank you.
Realize. Unless, it would be entertaining to have the arm wrestle.
I think
Real
we'll
table.
table until we can come to an agreement, conflict style.
And then we'll throw it in the,
And we,
get the smoke going up in the
I
air.
have to say, we need the special chimney installed.
And the string they tie the doors with.
Thank you. Way to go. That was good.
And we still have a split vote, or a tie vote, I should say.
We can continue to vote, or if we would have a motion to postpone the election of officers until Mr. Bagneski can join us later on in the evening.
I'd like to make a motion to hold off on the nominations till Mr. Bagneski could join us.
For all officers?
For all, no, for president now. I suppose for all officers, maybe it's the best thing. Yes, all officers, that seems the right thing.
We have a motion to postpone until Mr. Bagneski can join us. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, what if he doesn't show up?
Well,
Next week?
I will call him till he does join us. He did message me, yesterday and today, because I said it's possible, what if we have a tie vote? I'm trying to figure out how to easily facilitate the meeting. I also checked with, an attorney from WASB about this as well, so.
Just gonna ask, can we continue the meeting and actually, I know there wasn't a lot on the agenda, but actually work through official business if we're not, we don't have officers appointed.
Well, she would still be the vice president until a new one's voted in, correct?
I assume so.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
that
would-
smart.
I would think
Correct.
so.
So, we could certainly do recognition because there's no action taken by the board at that time. That's certainly something we could continue to do. There are other items on this reorganization, agenda. I don't know if you want to proceed with those or not at this time. What is the pleasure of the board? Because, the remaining items are,
We could do the, yeah,
we've got,
the
besides the,
delegates and the representative.
Yeah, maybe go move down to 1.14.
so that would be reaffirm the board's purpose, philosophy, and governance commitment, and then we have the approval of the WASB delegate, the CISA representative, the TIF representative, deputy clerk, other appointments, which include the LPEF, and then approve our meeting schedule. So is this board comfortable with proceeding with the current, with myself presiding as vice president? Does anybody disagree with that?
No.
Okay.
And,
This is just
so
a
two
weird-
things, could I ask who the second was for the postponement? Mr. Newmeister, you had the motion, and then
Mr.
Mr. Manka had the
Thank you.
second, thank you. And
That
we
easy.
could probably dispose of agenda item 1.13 as well,
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll do.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
just to help out.
I'll nominate
If you're
Laura
fine with that.
Steigerwald.
Beat me to it.
Did we do a vote yet for the
No.
postponement of the officers?
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other discussion on the motion of what's being postponed? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We will then move on to item 1.14, reaffirm the board's purpose, philosophy, and governance commitment.
Were we gonna do the secretary?
Pardon?
1.13, were we gonna do Laura as secretary? Unless
Oh,
there are.
we
Do you
could-
want to dispose of board secretary, or do we want to postpone
I
that
was
as well?
assuming that's all officers,
Okay,
so,
that's fine
Oh,
too,
That's
absolutely.
fair enough.
Yep.
Within the language. of-
like, I'm pretty sure that
Sure.
we're not gonna be surprised on the result on that one,
Yeah.
but.
Okay.
Are we okay with 1.4 then? Okay. So we'd be looking for a motion to affirm the Board of Education's purpose, philosophy, and governance commitment as described both in policy GC1, board purpose and commitment, and policy GC2, governing commitments. Do we have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to reaffirm the La Crosse Board of Education's purpose, philosophy, and governance commitment as described in both policy GC1, board purpose and commitment, and policy GC2, governing commitments.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to reaffirm the purpose, philosophy, and governance commitment. Mr. Manka.
I'd like to instead offer something else. I'd actually like to amend this, and I'd like to argue that we should approve GC-2 for only a probationary 6-month period, and I have a statement here to read. Coherence-based governance has proven a challenge for some board members and presents some weaknesses. I believe this to be a priority to examine this board term. While coherence-based governance in theory helps us be more efficient by delegating our authority to administration, it has in some cases depleted the powers vested to the board in Wisconsin Statute 118. And while policy is incredibly important to the success of the school district, so is the strategic decisions coherence-based governance purposely leaves to the superintendent and leaves a hole when it comes to accountability to the public. I believe it is necessary to evaluate our commitment to coherence-based governance, especially with the debate to standard-based grading. Over the past 2 years, board members have heard from our community the struggles from students, teachers, and parents about the transition to standard-based grading. And while many of us have brought up these issues on the board table, we are instead still told that we will have little say about the matter of grading since it has been delegated to administration. I'd like to advocate that this is an injunction for our power delegated from state power, and that we should examine other models of governance and decide if this is the best approach to our commitment to governance or if there are other ways to possibly amend this. We need a model that will support the community as best as we can humanely provide, and we also need a model that promotes agenda planning, facilities, executive oversight, and accountability between both the board and the administration. This in mind, I support approving GC-2 for a probationary 6-month period to examine our effectiveness and review if better options can be drawn to improve or replace our current model.
Is that an amendment or a statement?
I'd like to amend it.
That's a motion for an amendment. Do we have a second for the motion for amendment?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have an amendment with, made by Mr. Manka, seconded by Mr. Newmeister. Any discussion?
I disagree respectfully with the characterization that the governance model provides. I want to try to use some of the language there, that it creates a gulf of accountability. I think that it would be unwise to consider abandoning an entire governance model over what is essentially a single administrative decision that is admittedly causing some difficulties in standards-based grading, that any elected body of 9 people from this community are not really the people with the expertise or the educational knowledge to be making decisions about grading schema. And that is the reason it was delegated, that kind of administrative decision, to the district administration in the first place. So I don't see that as a good purpose for reconsidering our governance model. I think if there are shortcomings in the experience of coherent governance, I think that is because, like many things, there is a learning curve to it that is incumbent on us as the elected officials to learn and understand the system. We can review and reassess coherent governance as we go, as we have been having conversations for the past several years since its inception. So I disagree with the amendment, and I don't see a compelling reason to think about abandoning coherent governance at this time.
Other comments?
Yeah,
You're next. Go ahead.
I mean, the board has the ability to take on as much decision-making power as they choose, right? That's part of the policies, is us putting policy governance in place. So if there's certain areas where we want to exercise more power, that's a double-edged sword, right? So we can take on as much as we would like. But again, that's stuff that we own. So to Trevor's point, I feel like if there's certain policy that board members are concerned about, then that is something I think we should be, sorry, it's my go pick up my kids alarm. Apparently not doing that tonight. So again, I think that abandoning a governance model is probably the most drastic approach versus tweaking the governance model that we currently operate in. So
Just for a point of clarification, is your amendment to continue with the current model for 6 months and then change it? What is, I want to make sure what I understand your
To clarify
amendment.
this, don't say to completely overthrow coherence-based governance how we do, but I think it's our responsibility to the board to be able to look at ourselves, see if there's a way to improve it here. I like the idea of being able to make sure we have our own short meetings, I think, going in there, but there are some points of which the strategic decision-making scope comes down to the school board that I would argue we have kind of left bare, that we should be taking more of an active stance. And I listed standard-based grading as more of an example for them too, but there might be other ways to approach. Last board meeting we had, of course, the facilities question right there, and it's kind of making me wonder if there are other ways perhaps to look at our facilities. And this is not exactly a way just to upend everything. It's as a way to keep ourselves accountable and keep the board accountable and everyone accountable, make sure that we are governing the best intention at mind. That's why I'm saying, like, we keep this for 6 months while also examining, see if there are ways either to improve what we have, to either give us more of these strategic decision-making powers that we need to have, or if it comes to it, see if there's another way of governance model for it. So it's not to upthrow it and completely throw it over into the garbage can or the wayside. It's to keep ourselves accountable and to improve ourselves.
So to clarify for the official record, what is your amendment? I want to make sure we all understand.
To approve it for a 6-month period.
Instead of a 1-year period.
Yeah. So that way we can have our own way, or look at ourselves and look how to exactly, is there any ways we can improve upon this? That way when the 6 months come, that we can decide, is there anything we'd want to change from this?
So, I would say that we as a board can review those policies and continue coherent governance or abandon coherent governance at any time in the year. That we have that flexibility in the current policy. I do agree that there have been some times where it feels like, to me as a single board member, that coherent governance has made doing our job as a board, as governing as a board, sometimes clumsy and difficult. I wouldn't blame it necessarily on the learning curve. I would suggest, because I've used a model, just a slightly different name, like this for almost 20 years, I do like the model, but I do think some of our policies need to be looked at more closely. I think the community has expressed to us as a board for well over a year concerns about the grading model. We are not in any way, I don't feel, I could tell the district what grading model to use. But the policies probably need to be clarified to say, what do we expect in a grading model? A model that's clear and understandable to the students, to the parents, that measures whatever we as a board agree it should measure, whatever those things are that we feel are making the current grading model clumsy. We as a board should say, this is the community's value and this is what a grading model should include. I would also say that I think sometimes our current policy, the way it's written regarding facilities, and again, this is just my opinion, one member, even though I'm sitting here in this seat, I feel like facilities, sometimes we end up not having meaningful input as a board on facilities. We're not experts at when a roof should be replaced or what kind of roof we should put on, but to be in a reactive position to just say, here's the money, or we need to do a referendum, and not be part of a longer discussion, I think we could tweak it. I don't think we need to fundamentally shift it, but I think, personally, I would like to see some tweaking there. So I would like to see that. Don't know how I would vote on your amendment, but I do think that this board, especially as we have some new people at the table, new people at the table, maybe look at some of these policies and how do they fit for us, and what's really in them, and where have we tripped over the last few years or year, however long you've been on the board, what's causing you difficulty in the policy, and let's revisit that. I think we should talk about those and say coherent governance says this is an answer to it, or maybe we need to tweak our own policy. That was a long story, sorry. Any other discussion on the motion?
Not on the motion specifically, no. And I want to keep it to the motion.
I
think we're getting into a philosophical debate at this point.
Yes.
I would just sort of reiterate, I think for exactly the reasons that you have stated and that Jeff has stated, the fact of our ability within the existing model to take on the level of responsibility for particular decision-making that we want, that feels like what we need. I mean, I don't see the purpose of the amendment for that reason. So I'm wondering where it's coming from with what that desire is to look at things in that particular way that you're stating. And my hope would be that we do engage in those discussions, and that's part of the difficulty of a governance process is deciding what is our job, what is the thing that we are best positioned to do, and where are we creating the enabling structure for the school district to do what the school district is best able to do. So,
My question is, just, I guess my challenge to the board is to see if there's better ways we can better ourselves with our own governance, strategic-based, decision-making abilities, but, I mean, I will of course approve this if it doesn't pass, but it's, out of conscience, I think we do need to improve quite a lot of this, especially towards standard-based grading. We can't just shut ourselves off of some of these things, including, of course, the facilities, other ways as well, but that's just my own conscience here.
Any other comments? Okay. All those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
2 ayes. Those opposed?
nay.
So the amendment fails. So we're back to the original motion to approve the policy, purpose, philosophy, and governance commitment. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Put me down as abstain, please.
Pardon?
Put me down as abstain, please.
Abstain, okay, thank you. We are moving close to 6 o'clock. Should we
Table the rest of
suspend,
them,
should we table the rest of this and give ourselves a few minutes, and then we will go into the recognition portion of the meeting? And I'm gonna work on getting a hold of Mr. Begneski.
Do we need a motion to table?
Yes,
I'll make a motion to table the remainder of the reorganization agenda
until
until
after the
after.
I'll second.
recognition. Okay. Do we vote on a motion to table? Yes, we do. So we have a motion and a second to table the rest of this agenda until after the recognition portion of the upcoming meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. So we have